I don't know who's owning it, but this was Aunt Sister's house. And obviously they're renovating it. But this was Aunt Sister's house.
Maybe they sold it.
I don't know what they did. Yeah, this is a surprise. I don't know. But this was Aunt Sister's house here. And if that tree could talk, it would tell you.
Wow. Now, can you tell us who Aunt Sister is?
Aunt Sister is Evelina Smith. That's my father's sister.
Wow. And Evelina, there was also an aunt named after.
Yeah, Julie. Julie is
Evelina.
Yep. And this was their house.
Now, was this the house that Granddaddy also lived in with her before he started a family?
That's a good question. No, because they moved here after they lived on Howard Heights.
Okay.
And so Howard Heights is no longer in existence. Howard Heights is across the street where behind that those trains.
Okay.
Okay. Howard Heights is beyond that. And then, which is in that floor, there was an opening there. I don't think there's an opening there because right there, they didn't make, nobody lived there thereafter. Also, the duck used to be there.
Oh.
Yeah. On
Wow.
that side.
Can you share if these trees could
If
speak?
that tree could talk. That tree
What's
always been there.
Wow.
Always been there.
What would the trees say about the family that lived in this house?
That tree would tell you Uncle Melvin and sister raised all their children in this house.
Wow.
George, Janice, Karen, they all used to live here.
Wow. If these trees could talk.
If these trees could talk.
And can you
and
remind
the
us?
fencing is still the same.
Still the same.
Yeah, the facing
Wow.
is still the same.
Beautiful.
I don't know if they're going to change it or what, but that facing is still the same.
And can you remind us where are we at right now?
We're on Boxwood Avenue.
Boxwood Avenue.
Yeah, this is Boxwood Avenue.
Wow.
And the white people used to live on the next street over.
Okay.
And we could hear the church bells. You couldn't go there though.
Okay. Was it segregated at that time?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so this was considered a segregated.
Beyond that point, you may not come out alive.
Wow.
Oh yeah. No. You don't even want to take a tour there.
Wow.
You don't want to be no. You don't want no part of being there.
Yeah.
The white people used to live on that side.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's something that our generation, we didn't grow up
No, you
with.
didn't grow up under segregation.
Right.
But if that house, if they lived on that side.
Okay. So all the heights a segregated black community?
Yeah. Oh
right.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We grew up in a segregated society.
Wow.
Absolutely. You better not go into one of their areas, and yet they can come into one of our areas.
Right, but you couldn't go in their area.
And when they come in our area, they come for mischief.
Wow.
They come from
Right.
They come to do dirt and to do crime.
Right. Now, your schools, too, right, were segregated as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Because schools were always segregated. First time I ever sat next to a white person when I went to Connecticut.
Wow.
1965.
So when you guys left, when the family left South Carolina was still segregated?
Yes, it was.
Right.
They were just, in 1965, they had just allowed black people to go to white people's school.
Wow.
And I was going into high school at that time, 8th grade. I graduated 7th grade from here. And I would have wanted to go to Shakora High School, which is not too far from here.
Okay.
But that was all white.
All white school.
All these people, they all went to Barnes Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah, the Barnes Wilson, Burke, C.A. Brown, they were all black segregated schools.
Okay.
In Charleston.
Can you share, before we leave this area, Can you share the reasons on how our family got uprooted from South Carolina to Connecticut?
Oh yeah. My father he had 8 children to support, and he was in and out of a job. He worked at the creosote plant, and there is a lot of that. No, it's just plain truth. Last hired, first fired.
Yeah.
Even though he was a World War II vet.
Wow.
The pictures that you see that says "I'm a man,"
Yeah.
or "I fought in the war," but they wouldn't allow me to get a job. I got pictures of that. That was in the early '60s, and or the late '50s, and that was a fact. Even in the military, they were segregated. They wouldn't let black people do but
Certain jobs.
What do y'all call it, Danny? MOS?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. So you could not, if you were black, you could not just pick any MOS.
Okay.
No, some MOS, most of them were for the white men.
Whites, yeah.
It was not no even Steven.
Right.
No, not at all.
Right. Wow.
Well, you got to continue with the questions you were asking.
Sure. You got questions?
Yeah, just I think that had helped.
Like I said,
My
Daddy
fa-
lost the job over at the pre-solar plant,
Yep.
and he could not find a job
Right.
anywhere. Then Uncle
Willie, Uncle Willie. What happened was 2 years earlier, in 1961, Uncle Willie said to my father and mother, "Let us take Hermina, our oldest daughter."
Oh, you going?
Yeah, I'm going even back that far.
Yeah.
And let us try to raise her to try to ease the economic burden. Okay, 1963 is when Uncle Willie came down, and they convinced my father he would have a better opportunity in Connecticut.
In Connecticut.
And he did. He immediately got a job at North Hospital. He certainly knew how to cook because he was in the Navy, and that's all the black men do was cook.
Right.
Like they did. They had the menial jobs, and so he worked 2 years in Connecticut, send money back to my mother for the
Wow.
kids. Okay, and there was 7 of us in Connecticut.
Wow.
Okay, and I can give you the date, July 13th, 1965. My father actually came down and relocated us.
Wow.
The first 2 that went was Aunt Juliet and myself.
Yeah.
And we were the 2 old, one was a girl, one was a boy. We were the 2 oldest.
Yeah.
And then Uncle Danny and Billy and Jeannie and Annette, they all took the bus.
Yeah.
Greyhound bus.
And they
I
came
remember
to
walking on the
Connecticut.
bus too.
Huh?
Yeah.
I remember walking on the
Yeah.
bus.
I did. I'm sure you.
It was a Greyhound bus, and it pulled up, and we all
Yeah.
walked on the bus.
Yeah. So that's how they joined us in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to ask you guys to go a little bit closer together. Have a question
Sure.
Yeah.
as I think about Uncle sharing about the type of man my granddaddy was, the sacrifices that he made to move his family from the South to Connecticut,
Tremendous.
sending
My
money
father-
back down. And I just
my
wanted to
father-
ask
my
both of you
father
guys.
Was a man.
Yeah.
Was a man. Was a man. My father was in church, full of the Holy Ghost. He loved his family. He never walked off from his family, no matter how tough it was. Danny won't remember this, but I do. When we were in the project, and he came home from work one day, he said, I heard him say, "Mary, do they have to look this bad?" We were out in the street. We didn't know we looked that bad. Is this the best we got?
Yeah.
But no, my father was a tremendous man.
Yeah.
Tremendous. No, there was nobody.
Yeah.
We would never tell anybody that they were better than my father.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He's a father's father.
He was a tremendous example of what a man and what a father should be.
Yeah.
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 You know, the men in our family is so important, right?
Absolutely.
We carry their names and their
Yeah.
legacy.
But you know how some men would leave their family? Not
Yeah.
my father. And no matter how tough it got. No. My father was a tremendous man.
Yeah.
There was none greater.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Can I ask both of you guys a question?
Sure.
And I'm thinking of it from the perspective of all of the men that's in our family. Your nephews, your grandsons. What would you
And my son.
and your sons?
Yeah.
What do you want them to know? We're standing here.
I want my sons to know how proud I am of them. That they take care of their family. And they take care of their family because of the example that I got.
Mm-hmm.
That I've given to them. How to take care of their wives, how to
Yeah.
take care of their children, how to love their family. Okay? But then I'm able to give them that because that's what I got.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what I got through my father.
Yeah.
And I think Danny would say pretty much the same
Yeah,
thing.
pretty much the same
Yeah.
thing. There's nothing
Our
like
father
it.
was an example.
Yeah.
Couldn't
to
find a
us.
better example.
No. Mm-mm.
Couldn't find a better example all the way until his death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I just remember coming into the nursing home, and he said, "That's my son." He said, "God gave me that boy. God gave me those children." You know, he was telling the other people there, and it's sort of like the break room where all of the old folks.
Yeah,
were.
yeah.
His face used to light up so much when I walked through the door.
And the same with me too.
Never.
Yeah, same with me too. He tell them there goes that's my son.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
we look like him.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be that difficult to figure it out.
Yeah.
And now that I'm 72, going on 73, my wife says, now you begin to walk like it.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. This is the heights,
This is the height.
and the journey continues.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't see really